Hey y'all, remember when I told you in the last video that I was like prone to dunk on your faves? Here's one right here.
What do you make of those controversial statements I'm sure you've seen? I mean, she's, the Thanksgiving dust up. She says she doesn't, still believe that, but, the abolished prisons, abolished police, which is also positions that have been taken by a lot of the progressive candidates who have won. How do you get around that? I mean, those are
Yeah,
not positions that are supported by
right.
most of
I mean, I
America.
think that a lot of these races, even right now, they'll have a tendency to be nationalized.
Yeah.
But these races ultimately are local, and all politics are local. My understanding is that is that Francesca Hong has made clear her present stances to her electorate.
Yeah, she's moved away from a lot
Right,
of that.
she's moved away from it. And I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
Woke one was crazy. Okay, that's interesting.
And I think that what's important is that we have to assess what
Was it? I mean, did the movement go too far with some of those positions? I mean, you briefly supported the idea of defunding the police.
Well, I think that during this time and especially during COVID, there was a huge opening of the Overton window. We were shut down. There was some of the highest unemployment rates that we have seen because of those shutdowns.
Yeah.
And I think that the doors were really open in trying to entertain any and every policy that was going to get us to a better place. And I actually think that the discussions that were had in that time were quite fruitful. I think that when we talk about crime today, it's fundamentally different than the way that we talked about crime in bringing crime down, right? And I think that we all share in the goals of having as low a crime rate as possible. I think that, during lockdown, of course, rhetoric in that time is not rhetoric that we would use today. And I'm grateful that these candidates have the opportunity to present who they are to their electorate and what they're campaigning on in this moment.
I gotta say, that is some of the most hypocritical shit I've heard in a long time. And especially from her. I I'm not a big fan of AOC because frankly I find her hypocritical and I find that she has a tendency to throw people and things under the bus. And I remember how much it took for her to really be on the side of Palestinians in this war or conflict, whatever the hell you call it these days, okay? Genocide, there, okay? So for me, my estimation of her has pretty much plummeted for a while. But I know she has fans. But as I told you before, politics and fandom, not my thing. I don't do it. I don't believe in it. So stay for the analysis. If you want to know what woke one was or what she's referring to, um, it was basically defund the police, Black Lives Matter, and white women. It includes me too. And what I found was that in the interview there was a kind of dismissal and a kind of mockery of all the work black and brown are basically black activists and women have been doing for years. Like, woke one was so crazy that it should be dismissed. And that's basically what she's saying. Sorry, my glasses are fogging up, so I apparently have to do this like off the dome. Um, so at the end of the day, when it comes to black activism and the activism that a lot of people, not just black people, brown people, racialized people have been doing, was just thrown under the bus by AOC. And here's my problem with that. If AOC were a liberal, I would expect it. But progressives are starting to show their true colors. And, hate me if you want to for saying it, But one of the things about me is I will always be vindicated. Um, so So let's go back to 2020 and all the protests. Black people had been dealing with a rash of police murders over time. We're talking Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Trayvon Martin, um, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, um, Laquan McDonald. Uh, oof. There's so many of them. So many. The dude in South Carolina who was shot in the back by the police. And of course, George Floyd. And we saw that brutality unfold online. All of us did. And that, I think, was just the last straw. Um, Now, I remember the 2020 Democratic Party um, primaries when Kamala Harris was all Black Lives Matter, and basically everybody was Black Lives Matter, and we have to do this with the police, and we have to um, regulate the police, and blah 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 blah. Well, once Democrats got into power, that went all downhill because Joe Biden wasn't about to do all of that. So for me, I look at where we were and where we've come, and to me, it's very much expected from white liberals, but AOC, that hits different. In 2018, when AOC was elected, um, she ran on a justice reform campaign, which included ending the war on drugs, demilitarizing police departments, abolishing for-profit prisons, okay, legalizing marijuana at the federal level, releasing individuals sentenced for non-violent drug offenses, ending cash bail, and automatic independent investigations when people are killed by law enforcement officials. So where did that go, AOC? Nobody pushed that down your throat. That's what you ran on the first time you entered Congress. What happened to that? Y'all, she even went as far as posting, "What does an America with defunded police look like to you?" And she posted an answer on her Instagram stories. Pause to read. So here's the other thing that is wrong with this is that progressives are tasting a whiff of victory, and that whiff has made them change up. And listen, I'm not new to this. I understand politics. I understand the very seductive way that the system, the political system, makes you rewards you tacitly in terms of access. The closer you get to power, the closer you get to victory. I get that. I'm not an idiot. I understand that she is seeing all of these victories, and um she wants to pivot a little to the middle, whatever the middle is. But these are the primaries. People didn't elect you or elect these candidates to be in the middle. But I also understand that when a general election comes, general election midterms, you want to be palatable. I get that. But here's the troubling part is that what she's done is acquiesce to conservative talking points about defund the police and their own mockery of it. So she's replicating that in progressive spaces and in the mainstream. And it gave them a moral victory. Now, anytime somebody talks about justice, racial justice, um, uh, amending the justice system, they won't be taken seriously, and they will be condemned by those same progressives. So, you know, it's not as though this is just a one off comment and that's it. Basically, what she signaled is, oh, by the way, all that other stuff I was doing, that was some bullshit. That was some student era type bullshit. Now I'm a grown woman. I've seen how things work here. That 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 was nice to get us to the place where we can talk about it. Bitch, what? So, here's the thing too. Here's the other troubling part. At the end of the day, instead of seeing decreased police budgets, and decreasing police budgets was not only about the money, it was about police accountability and reducing police power. When Joe Biden got into office, all of a sudden, like, police budgets started increasing, and now they have unchecked power. They have more power than they did before we started, to be honest. And let me tell you what that looks like. It looks like ICE. It looks like ICE grabbing people off the street. It looks like, let me show you what it looks like. It looks like this. It looks like ICE shocking people now with gloves that deliver that extra shock, and on uncooperative people. So basically, if you're not obsequiously compliant, then you get shocked, basically. They could shock you whenever they want to and just say that you were compliant. This is inhumane. This is torture. And you know what else? It doesn't end there. Expanded police budgets, and which means expanded police power, are also now bringing it to the kids. Yeah. Remember during Defund the Police and Black Lives Matter, when Black people were trying to get school resource officers, who are honestly just police in schools, out of schools? And remember when you all told us that was crazy? Look what the school resource officers are using now. The same gloves. Okay? So when we said defund the police, we really meant it, but it was not only to reallocate money and resources to our communities, to actually make them healthy communities. It was also to put a check on police power, because we know how powerful they are. But woke one was crazy, right?